anyone wants to speak on the subject. We don't have the podium up there, so we do have the microphone here, so please come up. Let me turn my mic on, although there's only a few of us. Okay, item number 1, we have Jen Mahoney Brum request have to do with Father McGuire Park. Okay, I've read the letter. Do we have anyone here to speak on that behalf? Yes, please come up and address us, please. Thank you.
Can I grab?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay,
I think it slides up,
Can I-
maybe? The whole thing.
it's on. Yeah.
It's
Can I
kind of
just-
stuck.
Just take the whole thing with you.
There we go.
Can I-
We got it.
Before she starts,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman,
I don't deal with
before you
You can
start,
sit, you
please.
don't have to stand.
Okay,
Whatever
one
you
moment,
feel
please.
comfortable.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in all due respect, I think, Jen has written a letter to us, but there's some questions I have.
Okay.
I would sort of like to postpone this until Jen is available so we can ask questions to this and maybe put it off to the January meeting. I think a lot of it, I think we can you can answer questions today, you do that,
Right.
but I think it's only right for her to be before us so we can ask her. And
Okay.
genuinely, you can talk to her as well about why some of the things are where they are. I think for us to speak to nobody, except speaking to this board, we know what the situation is.
Right.
But it's her motion, basically, to come before this board.
Mm-hmm.
This board was adjourned for this meeting, but we called an emergency meeting specifically for this and for Mr. Momblo's situation. So I think where she's not here, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we hold it off until she is available to speak on it.
Okay, and your name, okay, we have a second on that?
My name is Sarah Brown. I'm the Chief Design Planner for the City of Lowell,
It's
and
no
I'm
disrespect to you, it's just that I.
no, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
And I'm overseeing the construction of all of our ARPA-funded projects through DPD.
Okay, I appreciate you coming to us.
Absolutely.
And if you realize what our concern, we want to make sure that the parties are heard, so everybody gets the correct say on this, so we don't assume what people mean and say.
Absolutely.
We could say things as a board tonight, that
Excuse me.
might not be sufficient for her in getting the right answers because she's not here to really able to describe to us what exactly are her concerns and trying to ease her concerns and making sure that her concerns are being answered.
Sure.
I think, I don't want to duplicate meetings, so I don't want to have a meeting tonight, we go through this, and she said, well,
Correct.
you people didn't really answer my concerns. I would really like to speak in January. So I'd really like to, and I know it was an emergency situation, and that would be my motion, Mr. Chairman, just to postpone until she's able to speak for
Okay,
herself.
we have a second?
Right here, second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. I respect your coming here tonight
Sure.
to speak on this thing, and I apologize that we have to postpone it.
Okay.
A miserable night, raining and snowing, and, but something that is this delicate, I believe we should have all the parties here to address it.
Sure. Would you like me to provide any explanation of what we've done to date, at least to attempt to address Jen's
Yes.
concerns?
Yeah, just.
Yeah, if you give us an update, that'd be great.
Absolutely. So we did receive a copy of Jen's letter as well as the photographs that she had provided to this board. I received them via email. And once we received that information, we did go out to the site. We discussed the issue with our contractor to determine exactly what had happened. And upon our review, we took some photographs and we assessed it. And what we saw in the field was that the temporary construction fencing, it has footings, and they encroach slightly on the mulched mound around where the monument is located. There was no disruption to the fencing. I think you were mentioning that earlier. There is a small black post fence that surrounds the monument, and it has a chain that extends between each post. There were no impacts to that. There was just a slight indent in the mound itself, the mulched mound.
Right.
In terms of the location, I think she had indicated that there was paving that comes right up to the edge of the mound. The finished condition of that area is not substantially different from what was going to be located there if we had done no work at all. Previously, there was a stone dust path that was not ADA compliant that was located right up to the at the edge of the mulched mound. Now it's paved, so it provides ADA accessibility to the tennis courts and the pickleball courts that are being installed today. It does look disruptive. While they were under construction, while they were paving, there was the construction fencing, there was a large unfinished paved area, and a lot of the grass had been pulled back in the front of where the monument is located. That will not be the finished condition. We will have a nice paved path. We will have brand new paved tennis and pickleball courts, and as well, the grass will be restored in the front of the monument area. And in my conversations with the contractor, we've also expressed to them that we would like to see them do some beautification and restoration work to the mound in the spring by providing some new mulch and ensuring that the footings from the temporary construction fence didn't, create any divots or issues in that area where they have plantings. And I hope to do that in concert with Jen, so I hope to meet with her at some point and have her out there and make sure that we do that to a standard that is sufficient for her and her family. We do recognize that these locations are very important to the families, and we made a commitment when we were before the subcommittee reviewing these ARPA projects to ensure that nothing happened to the monuments, that nothing happened to the fields, and we want to uphold that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
welcome.
Anyone have
Yep.
any questions?
Yes. What is your name again first?
My name is Sarah Brown, and I'm the Chief Design Planner for the
Sarah Brown?
Department of Planning and Development. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so can I ask maybe that weekend, because there was a lot of dust that was kicked up over there, and I'm sure with the winter, I know there was, some type of top or something put on them.
Yes.
Tops were not tied down. I live
Yes.
like 30 seconds from there, so I'm there in that area at least 3 or 4 times a day. Maybe we had some pretty heavy wind storms for the last couple of weeks, so it blew it off. Someone could tie it down, it'd be nice. And also, I don't know if we have the contractor, or maybe even the city of Lowell, clean the stones up a little bit after they're done with the project, or we could just add that in to clean them stones up. I know we
Absolutely.
have a power washer
Yep.
and stuff, and a guy in the city of Lowell that does that.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I
our
hope
plan
that-
is to restore the site upon completion of construction. So
Okay.
we still have a lot more work to do out there. We didn't get as far as we had hoped this fall, but we knew that there was a high potential that that would be the case because this was the last project of all of the ARPA-funded projects to start. So we will have a lot of painting that'll be done in the springtime to the basketball courts, the pickleball courts, and the tennis courts, as well as you'll see some additional construction likely in the playground area next spring. So they still have work to do, they still have some restoration to do, and we will ensure that the monuments are given the appropriate treatment.
Okay, now there's 2 monuments here.
Yes, there is.
Okay,
There's one in
Cheryl's
front of the
side, right?
basketball
Front of the
courts, and there's
basketball
one, yep,
Right.
by the tennis and
And
pickleball
Cheryl's
courts.
is right in the middle there, because you got the basketball here, you got the new kids' playground they're putting there, so hers is like not covered at all, and it's right, yeah, I can see all the machines going by it, but
Yep.
that didn't look like there was any damage to it, but I would just make sure that we, if maybe we take a before and after picture of what these things look like now, so after the contract is done, if there's any damage, we can hold them liable prior to them leaving.
I'm so
to
glad
make
you've
sure
mentioned
we-
that because we have pictures here tonight in case you'd like to see them.
What's
We do
that?
we have pictures with us tonight,
Yeah, no.
before and current
So
situation.
we're just hoping
and we
that
will
when
have
we end
pictures
it, that
later
it,
on.
that it, you know, if there's any type of problems to the stones, that they'll be put back to its original manner.
Absolutely. And if there are any other concerns that we didn't address tonight, we'll be happy to address them at a further meeting.
Okay.
It seems like your concerns are congruous to what our concerns are and how we turn the thing to look better after everything is done than in the beginning. And, the impediment on any of the monuments, and as you can tell, it's a personal thing to people, and it has to be respected. And people tend to take things to heart, and I don't blame them for that. But with your assurance that it's gonna look better afterwards, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else have any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I got a question. On on the pictures we have, there's a temporary fence up there. Is there gonna be a permanent fence put up next summer or next spring?
Yeah, so
How many feet away from the,
I don't have the exact number of feet off the top of my head, but if you were able to take a drive out there sometime this week, you'll see that the fence posts are currently in place for the tennis and pickleball courts. So the way it works is
Yes,
that
they
there is the monument and mound. There is a paved path that provides access to the courts. Then there's going to be a fence, then the courts. So the posts are up. The fencing will be completed over the course of the next couple of weeks. We actually, this contractor is working on another one of our parks as well, and so they've teed up the fence contractor to finish one fence and then come over to Father McGuire to finish this fence.
Yeah, I think from the pictures you're showing me, and no disrespect, I think is way too small for that type of, if you look at the North Common, it was named after, the first Greek kid that was killed in Vietnam from the acre. And if you look at that, the fence is probably a 4-foot fence, and it's all around with a gate. This is not enclosed, so I'm constantly seeing dogs are over there, kids are over there playing. So if we can enclose this somehow, that monument, I think it would better serve it than the need of protecting that stone.
You mean to enclose the monument with temporary fencing
With the
for
fence, yeah.
construction?
If you take a look at the North Common, right on the top of the hill, on the top of Fletcher Street,
Uh-huh.
and where Father Cervantes Way,
Mm-hmm.
going down to North Common, you'll see there's a big, it's a 4-foot high post. and you got the spindles going through them, and it has a gate on it. So it's better enclosed, so not anybody had, if you look at this picture, if that's where it's gonna be finished, it's easily accessed. Dogs and anybody else can go
You
right
can
through
see
there.
what it was tonight. I took this picture
Right.
half hour ago.
But this is the way it originated, and that's.
Right.
The stone, I'm just feeling that the poles are not even, 2 feet high, and
Oh,
it's got a chain, it's
correct.
got no gate in it, so it's easy access. You can go right in there, dogs can go in there, anybody can go in there, and you're constantly seeing dogs.
Oh, are you talking about the post and chain fence that's around the
Yes.
monument itself?
Yeah.
So that was existing. So we haven't done anything with that fence around the immediate mound. The
What I'm
only
asking, is it
fencing
possible to improve it?
to improve it.
that-
Not necessarily as part of the scope of the ARPA-funded project, because that's just how the ARPA funding works.
Right.
We can only proceed with what is currently under
Changing
contract.
what the original was presented.
But if that's a request of this board, that's something that can be.
No, it's just, a thought.
an
just a
idea.
Look
thought,
into
an
it.
idea,
Yeah.
but I-
At our
I-
next
Yep.
meeting,
Sure,
something that could be of concern.
sure.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. Look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Yeah, I believe so. You can't put it in, just leave it on the table.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't wanna break it.
Have you done karaoke?
I don't the other microphone.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Item number 2, update on the itemized breakdown for the cost to transition Monflo Field from a softball field back to a baseball field. Okay, you gentlemen are here to speak on that behalf. Could you please come forward, give us your name? Did you sign in?
I did.
Okay. Okay, what is the update from the city? Do you have that, Jeff?
Yes, we haven't got a full update on the cost for this yet, because this project is gonna be over the $10,000, which makes us have to apply to the state regulations on getting 3 bids for this.
Okay.
So we don't wanna give a cost of what it's gonna cost us, not knowing exactly getting the 3 bids for this project. These bids are in the process of talking to companies that do this work for us and have done North Corman, different ARPA projects that Sarah just spoke about.
Okay.
So it is in the process of getting this type of information. And there's other factors that weigh into it now that, like, this thing wouldn't take place till springtime, so costs can also escalate from now into January, into the new year of doing things, so these things fall under prevailing wage laws, all different things, so the cost of not just materials of labor and everything could go up as well.
That's
So
understandable.
I don't wanna give you guys a cost and just throwing something out there and then it not being correct. So, and I understand the situation that you guys are in. I just, I don't wanna give you ill information.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Jeff, would you mind, I know you're here.
Yep.
If you want to answer it, Jeff, you can do it. Or do you want to come back in January when we have some quotes and go from there? I mean, it's your motion, basically,
Yeah, I mean-
your reason why we're here, if you want to speak on.
Well, you probably will have it in January anyway, right? 'Cause I mean, January to like springtime.
Right.
too, so-
Jeff, if you're gonna talk, you just talk.
well, we still like to hear your concerns and everything.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I don't want you to waste your
personally
time,
would.
Jeff, but I don't want you to have to come back again another month and say, well, because you didn't have all the answers that we were looking for, but I want to go forward with.
You may not even have prices in January.
Correct. Like I said, the process, as you know, requires prevailing wage
Yeah,
and different
lowest-
things that pertain to.
lowest-
We at the parks are not gonna be able to perform this. The springtime, we're gonna be getting going for, not just the regular green spaces, other parks that, need to be addressed, for the baseball season, softball season, for all the different programs. So it definitely will not be an in-house project, which I spoke with the Commissioner, Paul St. Cyr upon this, and both of us are in the stages of getting this all taken care of. I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no for the January.
Right.
I think that to give you information that's not going to be true, I don't want to do that to you right now. And I'd like to get you actual
Right.
present what's gonna cost and bring it to you and give it to you, and then questions you might have of that. Because it's not just, ripping it out is one thing, but putting it in is a whole different animal between, irrigation and just, drainage stuff that goes in.
Yeah, well, that was ripped out also.
Difference of opinion.
The irrigation, I can't answer for that, because I did not do the removal. I didn't start here until late June. So this was taking place before I had started with the city of Lowell.
Right.
But those type of things would need to be installed again, I believe, if they were altered or,
Right.
as well as, like I said, some of the subgrades need to be done. And it's not just, it's not just the process of just bringing material in. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it with drainage and just different things. And,
In other words, it's a lot of work.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to throw numbers at you, but I mean, it's quite the project, for a company to come in and have to overtake that.
Was the irrigation system, was that disturbed when they?
I don't know if they affected, because like I said, I wasn't here during when that was
Yeah.
done, but I don't know if
Is
they.
it possible we can maybe have the lands and buildings?
I can
System
definitely
see if there's any-
I can definitely get that answer as to whether,
It seems to me without the irrigation system, it doesn't seem like it would be that much money. I mean, honestly, why we couldn't do that in-house is beside me, having worked in a parks department myself for years.
It's not,
I've worked in a parks.
I know, but
for years,
you
and I
can't
we
grow
had
grass
guys at the
without
time.
water.
But then again, we had 30 guys in a parks department, I think we got 12.
That's what he wants to
So,
know, the irrigation
but
system.
I
that?
just,
Is it there or not there?
right, there's currently irrigation in the outfield. I don't know, like I said, I can't speak for if anything was damaged during the process of removal. I don't want to give you an answer because I can't answer that.
Okay.
This was done prior to me starting for the city parks department, so I'd like to get you the correct answers. And I
So
I
the
hope you
irrigation is
understand
gone right now.
that. The what?
The irrigation's removed already.
I can't answer that because I did not do the removal of
Is that
the,
what, we got the letter saying it was?
That could be the case.
Oh, could be the
could be
case.
the case.
yeah.
Okay.
I've tried to read that.
No reason, regardless of what happens here, this should be irrigation, and it shouldn't.
Right.
We're hoping that there is.
Right. And then when,
And it's
Keith, just to
intact.
address when you say the city, again, I've spoke with the commissioner and, we have a lot of stuff that's, on our plate for the spring, at the start of the spring when this would be done. And this would, I don't wanna, this would delay, first of all, the whole process of softball and whatever else is taking place there and being permitted in those fields. So even if we were to start at sometime in the spring, we would be, affecting some of those dates on permits that might have been applied for at that field, which, is another thing we have to talk about. Do we want to do that? Because if we were to do that and not use that field at all for even the softball that it's been changed to, we would have to talk about what the board wants to do on that process. Do we shut that field down to do that?
And as always, anytime we get to the spring, depending on what type of weather we have.
Correct.
Things can be postponed before we authorize people to use them.
Correct.
And as long as they adhere to our restrictions, which in the
Right.
past they haven't at times, but hopefully they do. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to rehash what I said at the last meeting, because when I watched that meeting over, I didn't like what I said, because I was pretty harsh on the people that did the work behind our back, and I don't want to go there. I've said it, I know, and I think the board was unanimous, and letting people know we were very, very upset when we found out what was done, especially after watching that April 3rd meeting from 2023, the neighborhood meeting, where they were distinctly told not to touch it, and they did it anyway, so. But I'm not gonna go there again, because.
but
I'm
everything
gonna get
comes
my-
in front of this board to get done.
Yeah,
and
I'm not gonna
that
get myself
doesn't.
all upset
That's
about
what-
it, I'm not gonna, because it's not gonna go anywhere, so. But the ultimate goal, Jeff, and I've heard you say this, and I heard Jen twice during that meeting, I've listened to that meeting at least 3 times. And both of you have both said the same. And I knew your dad, because they lived right behind me, I lived on University Ave, and your backyard was in. And I think you both stated that you want what's best for the kids.
Of course.
We want ultimately what's best for the kids. So if a league comes here and tells us, because everything has changed, Jeff, the dynamics of neighborhood baseball has changed. I mean, there was no baseball. For almost a year or two, no baseball. I did the Acre Youth, as I mentioned, over 25 years. There is no baseball.
I try to get on this board to
Right.
see what would happen to this field,
Yeah,
and at the time, who was the manager? Lynch was the manager. My wife kept
My
the
favorite
minutes
guy.
for this board. Right, and it's a volunteer position, you don't
he
get paid.
wasn't my favorite
So
guy.
I can respect that. And that's, he said, oh, your wife keeps the minutes, that would be a conflict of interest. I'm like, volunteer.
Yeah.
I wanted to get on the board solely for that reason, so I could have a say what would happen to my father's field going forward.
Well, I think we have assured you, and I'm not speaking for myself,
no, I
I'm
know.
speaking for this entire board, as long as we're here, we're gonna protect that monument and that
Right.
named after your dad. We have there's nobody on this board ever mentioned about moving that
Right,
stone.
right, of course.
It was dedicated for the services that your dad gave.
But what just grinds my whole family's gears is it was said not to be
Yeah.
touched.
And all,
It didn't come in front of the board, everything comes, any permit, any request comes in front of this board.
right,
But to take machinery and dig it up
well,
and say,
well, like I said, I'm not gonna get myself to go there again, because I was spoken to, I got a couple of calls after I watched that meeting, and I was ashamed myself that I actually
It
said that
was wrong what happened.
someone should have been disciplined for it. But I don't wanna go there anymore. I wanna go forward.
Right,
And I
right.
wanna,
I
and
get it.
I hear what you're saying and everybody else. I've also come up, and I know the board, John and I have talked about it, that in the future, we need to call these athletic fields. You know, the field is dedicated to athletic field. I have a field named after me, and it said Little League. And that field where they got my field name has never been used for Little League. And I belonged to Acre Youth for a long
Right,
time,
yeah, I
and I
know,
had
I
6
know.
older brothers that all played there. It was a softball field, but it was a T-ball field or whatever. It was never used for Little League, but they got it, Keith Woody Little League field. It was never Little League. So I get what you're saying. I mean, the argument in the anguish that we have because how it was done, but we gotta get past that, and now we gotta look, what is the best use for that field for the kids? So if the organization comes before us and says, because we don't run the organizations, we just listen to their plies when they want to permit or what they want to do, if they want to amend it and do certain things, we listen to them and we try to give these leads who come before us what they need in order to better use for the children that are playing in their league, whether it be multi-purpose field, or being a T-ball or a minor league and softball, whatever they need, if they lights. So we try to work with the leads. They come to us, tell us what they need, and we try to work with them and give them what they need in order for the kids to play in a safe environment. So if the lead comes before us, because the leads have changed so much, Jeff, when the leads come before us now and say, in order for this to work, it would be better if I did this. And if the argument is, that's better use for it, then I would think most of the time the board's gonna agree with it. So as time changed, the fields sometimes, the reason that we're using the fields have now changed. So, because since your dad, coached them, they put 2 new fields in the back. There was never fields back there.
yeah, there was.
Were they back, well, there was a soccer field back there. That's all it was. I worked at the pool back there for years.
I know, when he coached, the fields were there. I coached.
The Lily Fields, I think
Right.
there was one field, right?
No, both fields.
I don't-
And
was
the
Booton's field there?
concession stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there
Lot
was
of
a pool
stuff
back there.
No, I know that, yeah.
So the fields couldn't have been there because one of the fields is where the pool
My
was.
father died in 15, both fields were there out back.
Right.
So the pool was gone, Jeff, at that
Yeah,
time?
both
Yeah,
fields were
okay,
there.
okay. Because when I worked up there, there was a pool there, and I took care of the pool there. The health camp, whatever it was called back then.
Yeah, the health-
Little health camp, correct.
Yeah. So, I wish it could have been done in a different way. It wasn't, and now it's a matter of what's gonna cost the city to put it back. And by putting it back, do we know?
Going there, why couldn't they just put lights, put a couple more sets of lights on the poles that they're doing at the basketball courts?
Just the basketball court, and I went up there and looked at it. The basketball courts, just so you know, when you look at them poles, they only have 2 lights on each pole. And they would have to go back and switch them each way, but there's only 2 lights.
No, I
When
know,
you-
but just put 2 more on the backside.
The cost for the lights, I can only tell you I remember when we did the Bartlett, you're talking about $500,000. So, but when I looked at the Montblow field, you have 5 poles there of sets of lights. In the one near the first base site, that has 5 lights on it. All the other ones have 3. On the outfield, you got one near the concession stand.
Instrumental in getting that done.
Huh? Yeah, so you got so you know what I'm talking about, right?
Done.
So you know what I'm talking about. So if we try to mirror that at the Mahoney Field, it costs us well over $500,000. And that's something that, to be honest with you, should have been brought up prior, because we had the Apple money. The Apple money's gone. That's a one-time use gone. We're not gonna see that hopefully not again in our lifetime, but, so I think listening to the lead come before us and telling us, well, I think, and I talked to Matt, and I think, I probably talked to Matt more than anybody else, and I think I let him know how upset I was about that being done. And I think, you know, it is what it is right now, and how do we go forward? Well, how do we resolve it so that we don't impact the lead that's using the field? I think Matt come up with a good idea, great idea, and I'll let him say what he'd like to do, as far as, you know, maybe rededicating that with another big stone and naming it the athletic fields, the Montbleau athletic fields, something like that. And I think the exposure of using it as a multiple use field, I think you'll get much more exposure than if you try to put a lily field
Yeah,
there.
but baseball is not played right on a softball field.
Well, you can't play baseball on a lily field. You can't play baseball on a softball field. You really can't.
Because you need to,
You need the ground.
This proposal is they're gonna slide a mound up and still use it for baseball.
But they're gonna use T-ball. T-ball, I know, not T-ball, them guys just, you got 10 kids running after the ball when it's running, whether it's hitting the infield or the outfield. So, T-ball is more fun and bringing nature into it. But I think if you put a little league field in a softball diamond, you're talking some serious injuries. Because that ball comes off that clay really hard, a little league baseball. Whereas softballs, I think, you know, it's been played on the flat clay surface for as long as I've remember softball being played. Everything's different with a little league field than a softball field. I mean, the only thing is the same is the distance of the mound and the bases. Other than that, the surfaces are two entire different surfaces. One's clay, one's grass.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So we're on hold, depending on what's gonna happen from the city, is that correct, Jeff?
I can come,
Mr. Chairman, oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
you're good. I was gonna say, I can come back when we do have everything. I can notify you guys that we do have everything in place to bring to you. I don't wanna promise you, again, like I said, that it will be for January. I'm gonna speak with Paul again tomorrow after this meeting and move forward with getting some quotes for getting this done together. But again, there's a lot of variables now where this costs gonna go up in next year as everything's gonna increase, as well as companies now are, you know, there's so many projects going on. It's not like you can just call them tomorrow and they're gonna start working on it.
I know, Jeff, that you were not the one that, you know, that oversee this project that, when I was before you here. I think the only promise I'm looking for you, as long as when I'm sitting on this board, that this will never happen again.
I can tell you right to yourselves and your family, you can bring this, that as long as I am here, superintendent of parks, this will not happen. This will, everything that has to be done, whether it's a repurpose of any type of thing that has to do with a park, I will make sure it gets presented to this board as it should be. So that's one promise that I can give to you.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Mr. LaLasha, you're impacted by this and you'd like to speak?
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for your input.
Well, I first want to start out by apologizing to the Wampu family, so I'll start there. It's never the intent of anybody involved in youth baseball or softball league to have anybody be negatively impacted by this. You know, Ronnie Montbleau gave 35, 40 years to the kids of Pawtucketville, and to disrespect. What's that? Yeah, I mean, Jeff and I were able to have a conversation at different points, highs and lows in that conversation. But it's not my intent or anybody involved's intent to disrespect Ronnie Montbleau or the Montbleau family. The only goal when the suggestion was made to be able to utilize the field more was just to utilize the field more. The fact that that did not get relayed is massively not not okay, and I'll own my aspect of that. I wish I had picked up the phone and reached out to you guys. But I did want to take a second just to explain what the goal of all of it is, just so that as you're making a decision, as the Montbleau family is, you know, contemplating what next steps, everybody kind of understands what the goal of everything was. I want to start with the first, just to get Mahoney out of the way. There's no intention from the league to stop using Mahoney Field as a softball field or change anything about the way we're using Mahoney Field. I know that was part of something that Jen had brought up. So I just want to make sure we go on the record. We're still going to be scheduling games there. We're still going to be using it for games and practices, and nothing's intended to change at Mahoney. As far as Montbleau is concerned, the goal would be whatever is deemed necessary to allow it for baseball and softball. I want to make sure that I kind of touched on this properly, and I normally just speak off the cuff, but to the respect of the family, I want to make sure you guys know exactly what the board talked about and what we were intending to do. The dimensions of the field no longer allow for 11 and 12-year-olds to be able to play at that field because you need, under Cal Ripken rules, which we now play Cal Ripken, we don't play Little League, and that's across the entire city. Cal Ripken rules require 50-foot mounds, 70-foot bases, 185-foot outfields in order to play the games. That's how they're supposed to be done. Now, for a league game, the 185-foot outfield isn't the biggest deal, but the 50-70 is required. So that's, I'll go through that. So that's, I'll just wanted to touch there, all right? So LeBlanc, McNamara, Lou Craft, Finn, and Gallagher Fields, over the course of the last decade or so, have all been retrofitted to accommodate this. They've all been retrofitted to be 50-70. So they allow for both. They allow for both the 46-60, which is the Little League rules, and the 50-70. So they have a dual humped mound on them, and they have base markers 10 feet apart at both the 60 and 70 foot. So there's 5 fields in the city that currently do that. And then you have Cahill Perrin, which is shed lower, and DeCosta, the field right next to Lou Craft in the Highlands. Those are Little League only. So those are used 46-60, the same way we all grew up, the way everybody always remembers it. It's just not what the sport is anymore. And so those 2 fields are Little League only, all right? And so they're only used for up to the 10-year-olds. And so we have 7 fields in the city that can be used all the way up to the 9 and 10-year-old division. And if you include Montbleu Field, that's the 8th field. So we have 8 fields that can be used all the way up until 10 years old. All right? So of those fields, 4 of them currently have lights for the boys. So we have boys that can play all the way up until they're 16 years old in the city of Lowell under the lights. We have exactly 0 that are currently for the girls, for softball. So Harry Allen, for whatever reason, is deemed adult softball, and the youth softball organizations don't recognize it. Don't ask me. This is my first year in softball. It doesn't get used that way. It's used. What's that? Yeah, it's the crushed stone. Yeah, yeah. I have no. Again, that's open to the board to discuss. And no, there's no toilets there.
No. St. Louis.
There's no concession stand there either.
Bridge here. It's right near Top Donor, yeah.
They built, I don't know what they're doing with the renovations for that as part of the Apple project, I don't know what else is going in over there.
It looks like mostly just the playground.
Yeah, as we understand, it's a splash pad. And, yeah.
It'll be mostly
I
a
got one-
splash pad and,
Centerville have their own
playground
baseball
and
league over there?
basketball courts.
There are no local leagues. They're all Lowell youth
The only
baseball.
last ones who use Harry Allen for baseball.
Yeah, it hasn't been used in forever. Not well, forever. I
You
say.
got Cody's Field there, and it's sitting, and they've been using Harry Allen and Cody.
I've been involved since 2016, so this will be my 11th year. Coming through, being involved, and none of those, neither Cody or Harry Allen, have ever been used. Just like Calorie is no longer used, Manning and Ventura is no longer used. Everything has shifted. Everything has changed. But there was one other thing that you said that I definitely just want to correct about how much the whole world in baseball has changed. I'd say at least 30% of the games that you play are now on synthetic turf when you travel around. And so the idea that you have to play No. Well, I'm not trying to advocate for synthetic. I'm just saying the fact that you think that we can't play baseball on a non-grass infield, it's done everywhere. It's done all over the place. It's done on dirt. It's done on synthetic. And what everybody has gone to, and it's because budgets don't allow. Cities and towns don't have money to maintain as many fields. There aren't as many fields needed anymore in a lot of places because baseball and softball aren't as big. Now, softball in Lowell is growing substantially. Baseball is flatlined. But because of that, many cities and towns have gone to turfing over a couple of fields and say, use it for everything. Use it for soccer, use it for lacrosse, use it for softball, use it for baseball, use it for everything. And what they do is they pull out these mounds. They take these large mounds, large or small mounds. Some of them are small bullpen mounds for the little kids, and other ones are big, long mounds that you drag out for your 9 and 10-year-old games, or as you go up 11, 12, 13 to 16, depending upon what the field is. And so the intent and the goal of all of this is to try to have Montbleu Field used as much as possible. And that was all the goal in any of this was to try to find a way to get the field used as much as possible. The ancillary benefit to the whole thing of all of that is that it gives the girls lights. And in the summer and in the fall in particular, the girls need lights. We sometimes can use Martin Field over at Colley Stadium as the lit field for some of the older girls. The problem you have there is if a custodian is not on staff, then technically the city's losing money whenever we go to use it. Now, they won't charge us, but the city is still paying that custodian to go over there and be there whenever we have to do that stuff. So if it works out that there's a football practice or something else, then it works out fine. But there is no field that's lit for the girls. So that was the reasoning for the request. The fact that this wasn't aired out first is not okay. Yeah, this should have been discussed before. But I just don't want it to be thought that anything was done other than a request to try to help the league use the field more and try to get more activity on the field. And that's the intent of everything we're trying to do. We have currently in the city 5 softball fields. None of them are lit. 3 at McPherson, 1 at Page up at Shed Upper, and then Mahoney Field. And the last thing I'll say on Mahoney Field, and I had said this to Jeff, and please ask the planning department, don't believe me on this one. During the ARPA project, back when everyone was trying to look at different ways to use everything, we got a quote from Musco Lighting, who's one of the biggest lighting companies to do this stuff in the area. They do most of the fields or a lot of the fields in the area. At the time, the goal was to try to light LeBlanc Field out back where the pool used to be, as Jeff had said, right? The quote came back at $1.1 million. That was to do a small diamond field or a 50-70 field, and that was 3.5 years ago. And so,
That was at Blank, not Mahoney. You told me Mahoney was 1.2.
no. So what I was going to tell you is, what we learned from that is you can't just put on additional lights and turn it. You have to run a whole transformer. You have to have a certain height. Like all stuff I learned by going through this process. The lights can't be at a certain height to be safe at a baseball softball field. The lights will go right into your eyes.
Right, yeah, just right.
And so it can't be a basketball height. It has to be at a baseball softball height. So you can't use existing poles. You can't use existing lighting. You've got to literally build it for the purpose. And so I would give anything to just throw lights at Mahoney. There's bathrooms at Mahoney. There's a concession stand at Mahoney. It would be unbelievable if we could just throw lights at Mahoney. I'd be the first one up here saying that's the best thing possible.
You got one bid though, right? Isn't it lowest bid? For anywhere in the city?
Lowest bid, yes, under the bidding laws they have to go with, yes, correct.
Jeff, I will commit to you. If you want to go look for bids with me, I'm in. I'm in to look for bids to find lighting that's cheaper than that. It is, again, not the intent. Yeah, it's not the intent in any way to try to take anything away. It's to try to enhance and utilize your dad's field more. And unless,
That meeting, and nothing will be done, and then it was under the radar.
It's not what could be done and will be done, it's how it was done is the issue.
That's what
and I
got
don't have
the-
any problem.
got the
Yeah.
board mad, because
I mean, mea
this is
culpa,
not the
mea
first
culpa.
time this has happened. It's not the first time. I've been on this board for 10 years. It's the second time in the last 7 years. And it all comes back to us, and it makes us look bad, like we're the bad boys. We okayed it. We had nothing to do with it.
I understand that completely.
But the first time, believe me, they wanted to hang us. And we found out the same time the councilors found out that when they tried to, Kelly Page Field up at Shed Park.
They have lights up there, Tom? Page Field?
No, no,
The Lily Field has, right? No?
down below,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
But I got a question. When did they change the 50-70?
The first 50-70 field, I believe, was Bluecraft Field and Shed Upper was similar, probably around 2017, 2018. They started to cut those back. We went as an entire city to Cal Ripken, because the Highlands, at the time when they were different parks, the Highlands and Shed were the first to go to Cal Ripken. And so in order to do that, doing the 50-70 was one of the requirements.
So it's just the Cal Ripken that does the 50-70?
So Cal
Lit-
Ripken is who does.
Little League stayed at the 46-60, right?
Little League stayed at 46-60. There's a long reason for why we're Cal Ripken as opposed to Little League, which we needed to.
Because that's what caused the problem with Page Field up there, because the commissioner moved the fence back 10 feet to make it legal for 50-70. That's what the problem was up there. Then they wanted to change the Lowell Field to up top and move the Page Field downstairs. down below.
So the 50-70 rule, is that mostly dealing with Little League, or is it dealing with Senior League also? Because it wouldn't meet the regulations for Senior League,
No, so
a
it's
60-90.
It's 11 and 12 real division. The intent and the reason for why they went to it, and it has worked. A large part of New England has switched to this. 50-70 is huge in New England, the Northeast, excuse me, the Upper Midwest. It's big in a lot of places where you can't play year round. I'm not smart enough to know exactly why that is, but it's huge in those areas.
Yeah.
All right, and the reason, the thought process was, if you remember all of us when we were growing up, you went from the small diamond to this giant Fenway Park diamond.
You went from 60 feet to 90
We
feet.
went from 60
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
And the kids are throwing from 60 feet as opposed to 46 feet.
Yeah.
And 60 feet is one half. So the idea is this becomes a hybrid. It allows the 11 and 12-year-olds to play at like major league style rules where there's leading, there's stealing, there's all those other things that come into play once you get the big diamond that didn't exist when we were in Little League. If you
Nope.
remember, when we were young, you couldn't steal until the ball crossed the plate.
No, Matt, I don't mean to interrupt, but you said now that's basically the 50-70 is used for 11 and 12s?
11 and 12.
Okay.
It's the 11 and 12-year-old division. That's why the intent is Mont Bluefield is still used for 10-year-olds and down.
Okay, so they
Because it
felt,
still
they felt the
fits
jump from 46 to 60 was too much for a lot of these kids, 12 years old?
The idea was to try to keep 13-year-olds.
Okay.
So that they've been
Yeah.
exposed to it
Yeah.
and more kids will remain in the senior league level going over into that 13-year-old year. It has worked.
Yeah.
It has worked, but that's the theory. Now, I will tell you that Little League is actively exploring going down this path. And the number one reason that they haven't done it, at least that's what relayed to us, is because the fields down at Williamsport that are on ESPN,
Yeah.
4660. And until they retrofit those,
What are they, 46, 60?
those are the regular.
Yeah,
old
46,
fields.
Yeah, yeah.
But many Little League towns now have gone to recreational level 50-70, and then for tournament ball, they go back to 46-60. So they only play their tournament drill in the summer on the smaller diamonds, and they play the whole time at 57.
but
Because
so-
it allows kids to lead and steal.
But
It is
softball,
better.
softball is stood at 46, 60.
So softball, the dimensions of the
43,
infield
60.
haven't changed, but the mound will move back based on age. Tom
46,
Stevens is
60,
better
yeah.
than anybody. It starts at, I think, what, 36, then 40, then
35, 35, 40, 43.
35,
43?
So that mound moves back, and that's a flat mound,
Right,
Jeff
right.
is 100% right, that's completely different, that's right up a flat mound. Now, when you're doing that with T-ball kids, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But we do put the mounds, or the plan, the intent is to put the mounds in place for teaching baseball off of a mound with those mounds, the same way you do as if it was a synthetic field, as if it would be a turf. I wanted to make sure that everybody at least understands the intent, how it was executed. I think everybody in the room agrees it's not the best, but I just didn't want anyone to think that there was any intent other than to say, does this field present an opportunity to be utilized more? And the biggest thing is, it's really not okay that the girls don't have lights. And if there's a better way to create lights for the girls, I'm 100% in. Tell me where and when, I am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lelash. Ms. Mump, you have any other questions concerning what he had stated? Okay.
I will, if I don't mind, I would just.
I mean, having played baseball in all these fields over the years, and not knowing the dimensions of what we played on, you know,
It's-
you got out of school, you grabbed your glove, and you went up to the field and you played.
And nobody
Didn't
does
care what dimensions the
They don't do that
Nobody
today.
does it anymore. It's
No.
unbelievable. It's not organized play, no one does it. It's a different world.
Somebody had said to me, if you got rid of all the fences,
Yeah.
it would solve some of this problem, but the reason the fence is there, so the kids can hit a home run and go, yay!
No, it's also so the dogs don't poop in
Yeah,
second
yeah.
base. So that's one problem.
That's another
The
problem.
dogs,
for
I mean, dogs can be controlled,
That's
you
another
know, the
problem.
glory of hitting a home
Tell me
run
how.
changes, so.
I will say, like I said, I wanna publicly extend, anything we can do to try to make it as good as possible, I would absolutely love to be able to do some kind of dedication, rededication to honor your dad. That's up to you and the family, but if you guys are interested, we would love to try to do something so that everyone.
And I know the intention of this board is to make the fields available to the youth of the city, and that serves them the best. Okay, and a lot of people have put in a lot of hard work and effort over the years, and they should be respected and commemorated for all the service that they did. And to change things without proper notice and everything is totally wrong.
I'm not sure we'd be here right now if it was done properly. I really don't. I mean, I don't, I think the Mombolo family would have been, had their say, we would naturally, that's what we do, we bring that issue to the board. We allow people to come here who are affected by the change, to come here and speak and give us a better idea of, you know, what their feelings are and their concerns are. And then we as a board vote on how we think it's best to be used by the children of the city, how it serves the city and the children. I think that's basically how we come down to a decision. It's not about who this, he's a good guy, he's a good, whatever.
Correct.
We don't do that. We just do it based on the needs of how it better benefits the children in the city. And right now, like I said, unfortunately, we don't have neighborhood leads. Neighborhood leads have gone by. They've been gone for 20 years, 30 years. Chance of getting back, I don't know. I mean, unless you take away the cell phones and the video games, I don't think that baseball is coming back.
I just
No,
wanna
Little League
make-
baseball.
We have less players playing baseball in the city of Lowell than the town of Chelsea.
Yeah,
Just give you an idea.
yeah. Well, you gotta remember, I think we're.
Poor management.
I think we're a lot more diverse in the sports, so we've really seen lacrosse pick up, you've seen field hockey picked up, you've seen volleyball picked up, so I think
Pickleball.
with the, I don't know if it's the ethic, different ethnic groups that like to do different sports. Cricket, I don't think you see cricket so much out on towns, I don't know, but, we get a lot of crickets in Lowell, but,
Some towns,
starting to
it's very
grow.
big.
yeah. So I mean, times have changed, unfortunately, and we gotta work with the youth leads in order to allow them what they need in order to run their programs efficiently. And I think that's where our decision has to lay, I think, if we're really looking at the best interests of the city, which I've heard Jeff and Jen say publicly, that they want what's best, and I'm sure that their family wants what's best for the kids as time changes. Again, I don't think we'd be sitting here having this discussion if it was done properly,
We
but,
would have had this discussion months ago, and things would have got resolved with everybody getting their
Before the first
interests
shovel
heard
mistake.
and discussed
Yeah.
and worked out for the best. Okay, do we have any reason, this is gonna be postponed to our next meeting?
Until Jeff gets the price for us.
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
just,
let me finish.
Okay.
before we schedule that meeting, can you just touch base and, I'll let you know where I am at the process, so we don't have to do another.
And make sure they get notified too.
Yes, yep, to make sure they get notified, and there's plenty of time for questions
That's
that you
okay with
might
you,
have.
gentlemen? Okay,
But
that's okay
I
with you,
promise
Patty?
you, we are in the works of it, and, if I can, you can feel free to reach out to me at any point if you have any concerns during the process. Again, I can assure you that, that this process will not take place with me being superintendent of the parks. I won't have anything repurposing done until I bring it in front of the board to have it okayed.
sorry to
or
bring you
whatever.
guys out here, cause I know you'd rather be out there shopping, for your honeys and your kids and everything else, so. No, but we appreciate you coming here, and that's what we're about, we wanna hear from the people. It's we work for you, we work for the people, and that's all we're trying to do, is trying
Is
to
that
do
who we
what's
work
best.
for?
Well, I work for you.
I got a question for that. Matt, do you ever think of using Harry Allen for girls softball?
Yeah, so when we
Because
first,
nobody uses that, and it's a shame.
yeah, I mean,
I played there a long time ago.
I have no objection, like I said, the whole
Because
intent-
nobody uses it, you go, in the summertime, you drive down Lakeview Avenue, you look over there, the lights are on, nobody's on the field.
The
It's a shame.
Softball crowd, at least relayed to me, having come from the baseball side, only only my second year doing anything on the softball side, that is more suited, built, infield design, everything for fast pitch men's league. It's not designed for youth softball. I don't know what that means to somebody who.
But first of all,
That's just
people
a
that are
matter-
out there doing the softball, they don't control what that field is used for. We do. And in the past, we've had issues where this group says it should be this, and that group says, what we do is we bring the groups in, and we discuss it, so it's fair to everybody.
I'm just talking like the governing bodies, like the USA softball, the other people like that.
Yeah,
saying
they
it's
could
really-
care less about Lowell. We care about Lowell, and we care about the people in here. Okay?
The only reason I'm saying that, the lights are on every night, nobody's
Yeah.
using it.
Oh, I understand.
So, Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, shall we make a motion just to continue this hearing once we get the final,
Yes, please.
so make a motion that we continue this discussion on Monlow Field, when we get the,
Total cost.
total cost of reverting back to sod and infield
Okay.
in baseball.
I'll second it.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
All right,
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Again, gentlemen, thank you very much for showing up. May you have a happy holiday season.
Coming out, have a great holiday.
thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Patty, take it easy.
Michael O'Malley, he was taking a picture of your truck, and I'm like, hey, that's Keith's truck. So
All right, I'll talk to you, Deb. Thank you.
Okay, I got someplace to go, so let's get
All right,
moving.
we're good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, update on outstanding fees. We have a list before us, I believe, and,
Yeah, so just really quick so we can try and
Heather?
wrap this up.
Okay.
I just provided you guys with the outstanding fees from this year.
Okay.
And then from basically the start of when we started taking permit fees on our website. I did reach out to them, October maybe, and I did get quite a few payments, but obviously not all of them. Some of these groups will be back next year, so they won't get any permits until they pay those outstanding fees.
okay.
That's just basically for you guys to review, know what's going on with our fees.
Yeah. What did the total come out to? 4,000?
Yep, so for 1 year, just this year, 2025, $4,000. And then going back to 2017, we're right around close to $20,000.
Now, I know when I reviewed it real quick that some of these organizations don't even exist anymore. Is that right?
That is right, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, we can keep on chasing, we can keep on sending requests for payments, but it just seems like we're just wasting more and more time. I don't know what, because some of these people, some of them like 2 or 3, 4 years old, I think, sometimes.
Okay.
Looking at what Northeastern's football, Massachusetts Pirates, these groups don't even exist anymore. And
Yeah, no, they exist, they're in Orlando.
what's that?
They're in Orlando.
Yeah, well, they don't care about Lowell. But there's some groups here, and I notice a lot of, like you said, Heather, that the repeaters, they come back here next year. So they have to know that, I just wish that, I think when I first got on the board and we requested some of this, I think we were somewhere around $40,000. I think at one time.
We were high.
We're allowing some people to carry over their debt from 1 year over to the following year when they put in the permit, and then they paid us the money, and then they did the same thing the following year. It was like a recycling thing, which meant that we constantly were losing. So I appreciate that with the time and effort, Heather, that you're putting into this, you and Peter, and trying to get this down to reasonable, what we're doing. Because in most cases, when we're looking at this, in most of them that I'm looking at, they didn't use the field anyways, right? They didn't use their permit. Is that correct, Heather?
I couldn't
I don't
say
think
yes
so.
or no.
Yeah.
They bring that to you if they didn't use it. To my knowledge, until they reach out to me,
We
they
don't know.
did use it,
Okay.
unless they say otherwise.
There's one other question, and I have Heather, would be, a lot of times we have a name of a person, they use it for one specific use, then the next year, somebody else, a different name, uses it for the same purpose. You want able to monitor that?
I guess it really depends. If I know that they're affiliated, I will go into their account and see if they have any
Okay.
outstanding balances. But if I don't know that they're connected.
No, I know that's difficult to do, I just wondering if you take a look at that, that's all.
I do.
Okay,
Heather, just one that sticks out in my mind, it's in the middle, and it says Ikamaka, is that right? I'm probably butchering it. $2,500, it was on, March 5th, 2024.
at the first sheet,
Is that Eaton?
Yeah, no, there's yes, exactly. Yeah, Ikamaka's up top, but.
Yeah, I would have to look into what that was. That
I
was
think that was baseball. Ronnie
Ronnie.
Eaton.
Yeah, that
Okay.
does sound familiar. That was
Yeah.
before I
Yeah.
started here.
What was the date on it?
oh,
It was
okay,
24.
completed, Eaton,
24,
all
yeah.
right,
They got the permit for March 5th,
3/5/24.
or when they were approved for
Eaton,
the.
all right. Okay,
At the top of that page, I'd like to talk to that guy too. The same page, without saying his name.
I've
choke,
also reached out to
I know, I
him, actually, believe it or not.
What's that? Can we take it out of his paycheck?
I don't have my glasses, I can't see.
But other than that, I mean, I don't see big ones. I see $75, $50, $150.
Yeah,
Of course, it all adds up. But I'm looking at the bigger ones, and the bigger one seems to be that, and what is a low BB softball?
That's what I was gonna ask.
The low,
Greater Lowell Baseball Association?
No, it says
Triple B
low-
softball used to be a baseball, softball league that played every year.
That was 2019 I got here.
Yeah, it was years ago. They used
They're
to
the
come
ones that
every
played
year.
over in St. Louis?
Yeah,
Tommy Soda.
I don't remember the name.
Saucia, Tommy
Yeah.
Saucia was one.
Yeah, so there's a couple of leagues that used to play that
And
are not around anymore. that
Corey,
have
Corey
fees.
something, I can't think of his last name right
You
now.
add those up, you got Lowell, you got.
Yeah, and then on the last page,
They don't even exist anymore.
last page, I have two big ones here. There were Northeasters. That was 2017, they owe us $1,670. Last page, I have two big ones here. There were Northeasters. That was 2017, they owe us $1,670. And then you have the, what is it, Quinty, Marocha?
17, yeah.
1,100, but some of these go back, like I said, the last one you got here, I don't know if it goes in different, goes back to 17. I mean, it's like 8 years, we're just chasing and chasing, it just seems like, and I agree with Tommy and the chairman that sometimes these people just come back and they come back in a different name or a different lead or,
So we submit this report to the board and then also to our finance person every year to get direction on how they want us to handle it. Typically, it's to reach out, send an email, and see who pays. Usually, if it's a year out, they haven't paid, they would have no intention of paying.
Right.
yeah,
So we're just carrying fees that aren't gonna get realized.
yeah.
Historically, the city of Lowell carries a lot of fees that have to do with permits and real estate taxes and vehicle fees and everything that is sitting on the books, if you looked at it, that have been there for 20 years, that were never gonna get paid, and they just leave them on there.
Now, Peter, do you mind me asking, or you and Heather, are there any ways that you think in the future that we can, I don't think eliminate it, but maybe prevent it a little bit? Is there any,
I think that's why you guys changed the rules about paying 2 weeks
With the-
prior to the
okay.
event.
Yeah.
So that way, if they don't pay, there'll be no custodian allowed for them.
okay,
It doesn't alleviate them having to pay, it doesn't take it off their account, they'd have to still come back to the board to get that waived, if that was the case. But if they don't pay 2 weeks prior, a lot of these are Cauley Stadium or Shed Park Pavilion fees that wouldn't be able to get
some of
in.
the steps we have taken already that are
Yep.
probably improving their payment.
Because I'm assuming that the fences would be locked if they, I mean, it's tough if you have 6 fields being used to lock one group out, but I'm assuming that's what would be the reason for doing that 2-week notice.
Thank you for the report, I appreciate it.
Okay, and then just before we wrap up, I provided everybody, DPD gave us an update on all the ARPA park renovations.
Yes, I was gonna ask what those
So
were.
this is just basically where they stand on all of the projects, and then the completed projects, they did provide pictures, which I gave everybody.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Heather.
I think, Mr. Chairman, that begs, why we're saying about what we said earlier about getting the best use for these fields. The city has invested, I think, close to $10 million. I keep on hearing $8 million to $10 million, parks, and we want these parks and fields to be utilized. And that's why I think when I spoke earlier about changing one field from this to that, if it meets the neighborhood or if it meets the needs of the youth today and the programs they're running, then I think, that's what we're trying to do, because the city's investing in these parks and improving these parks. We want the fields to be used. And the people that better use the fields are the people that are out there running these youth programs, and they tell us what they want, and we try to get them what they need in order to efficiently run their programs.
Well, I agree with you, and the one thing we saw the situation here tonight, that we have what could be better utilized, but the process wasn't handled
Right,
correctly.
absolutely.
There's no communication between the right hand and the left hand, and it turned out to be a quagmire, which we don't want to have happen. Too many people do too much work to get think that they're insulted or whatever. We don't want that to happen. So, okay, seeing no other business before this board, I request adjournment.
Second, Mr. Chair.
I'll make,
Happy holidays to all.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
hope Santa Claus is good to everybody.
Can Santa Claus bring us another cricket field?
Right.